The ocean is the world's oldest hood, so make sense of the gang wars of the animals in it are titanic. There's Avengers levels of conflict happening under the waves. And in the center of it all is Sea Thanos. The orca's range is everywhere. Its diet is everything. Their breeding season is a day that ends in Y. They hunt whenever and no one ever hunts them. Orca is really that guy. It's an apex evolutionary attack dolphin known to give great white sharks PTSD and scare the literal no figurative feces out of the biggest predator alive. We'll get to that. The cetaceous sea panda is an intellectual vibe check with a street name, killer whale. A name they got after ancient whalers watched what a barcode armada could do to a barnacle bus stop. With the size, intelligence, and power of friendship, the whale killer might just be nature's favorite. And there's virtually nothing on the ocean senses that can't get orked. But all that dominance has a cost. Like an ocean kingpin, orcas have made a lot of enemies, and there's at least 2 that'll bully them back. It all comes back to the often forgotten rule of nature. A predator has to be convinced you're worth the effort, but prey will turn you into past tense before you go offense. The world of whale beef is messy with alliances, rivalries, and straight mob mentality. 'Cause for every orca, there's a pack of pilot whales. This is what orcas see in their nightmares, allegedly. Let's talk about it. Every dolphin is a whale, but not every whale is a dolphin. And pilot whales are a very big dolphin. They're the second biggest dolphin, only beat by the ocean equalizer. Pilot whales look like off-brand belugas, and that's pretty close to their personality. Pilot whales have been called the Ferraris of the sea, being clocked at over 30 miles per hour while hunting. And they'll use this speed to run up on pods of orcas. That and the fact that pilots can roll in pods that get to over 100 is why killer whales may have a healthy amount of fear in a deep fake dolphin. Scientists in Iceland have seen orcas go from socializing to dead silent to suddenly synchronizing retreat before a group of pilot whales pulled up. In some cases, the orcas were literally run out by the pilots, with both parties porposing during the chase. And we know for a fact pilot whales actively look for problems since scientists in Norway played the sounds of orcas feeding, and that got their boat confronted by the pilot pack. It's even escalated to pilot whales imitating the calls of killer whales. And considering killer whales in different areas can have different dialects, pilot whales learn to lampoon the exact kind of orca in their neighborhood. Some say it's a form of ocean incognito where they use sound to camouflage. But there's a world where pilots got so sick of the gimmicks they learn a language just to talk that citation, but it's not one-sided, as orcas will pack up and prey on pilot whales. There's also been more than one case of a group of orcas traveling with an orphan baby pilot whale, adopting it, either as progeny or a practice dummy. My theory is that the trauma of losing a baby drives a mother orca to do the next best thing, kidnap an infant pilot whale, and try to brute force parenthood. It's a conflict that still has a lot of questions, and this story might just have another chapter, because what are the odds or 2 biggest enemies are friends? Humpbacks prove you can always be a bigger hater, and there's no bigger hater than the one that interferes with orca hunts, even when the target isn't another humpback that in 5 decades of studying humpback orca spats. In only 11% of them did the killer whales actually go after them. The other 89 involved orcas plotting on a completely different animal and the humpbacks getting involved to play defense. In fact, in over 100 encounters, the humpbacks approached the orcas 37% of the time, and the orcas were the instigators 26%. Meaning when scientists could tell who wanted smoke, 58% of the time, the humpback mafia started it. Why? Well, maybe ask the pilot whales. Pilot whales and humpbacks have been seen socializing off Hawaii with humpbacks, even seeming to pet the pilots with their fins. They've even been caught communicating with each other. 2 completely different species. And it's not an accident. About 200 instances of whales and dolphins interacting were recorded across 19 different species. And what was found was that not only were a third of all humpback encounters classified as positive, with the whales seeming to seek out the dolphins, humpbacks were way more dolphin tolerant than others like the bluefin and northern white whales. And let's not just slide past the interspecies communication. That is wild. And who knows what they're saying? They could be plotting the most devious hit on an orca. There's no Rosetta Stone for that. Of course, that's a joke. One, because I don't believe they have their version of a white pointy rogue pep rally to plot against an apex predator. But also two, humpbacks aren't exactly immune to the habits of pilot whale. According to the Latin American Journal of Aquatic Mammals, pilot whales often rage bait humpbacks, with short-fin pilot whales seen antagonizing the humpback variety of off Puerto Rico. Harassment that the whales were visibly stressed by. One sighting saw a gang of pilots approach a pod of humpback whales, with the humpbacks reacting by trumpeting and tail slapping. Basically a citation crash out. One theory says the pilot whale is a kleptoparasite whose meal prep involves harassing a humpback in a stress regurgitating its last meal so the pilot can swoop in for the steal. Mind you, humpbacks in Puerto Rico probably haven't eaten since they were in the Arctic. In the Mona Passage off Puerto Rico, a bunch of pilot whales pulled up to harass a hump pod until the humps dove underwater and resurfaced a distance away until the pilots peeped them and went over to choose conflict again. This cycle continued like a game until the humpbacks eventually left the area. And chances are a game is exactly what was happening. Some genuinely believe that pilot whales mess with other whales for fun, not for food, simply love of the game. They're just being dicks. And humpbacks are the whales that tolerate them. But what they don't accept is anything orca. In 2012, a pod of orcas murked a gray whale calf. But the plot twist was the 14 humpbacks that rushed in to back up the two already on scene. And what scientists saw was the humpbacks gatekeeping the killer whales, with one even putting himself next to the past tense calf and wailing out anytime an orca got close. For 6.5 hours, the humpback hood calorie blocked the orcas, even ignoring an enticing swarm of nearby krill to remain to float on business. You see, orcas don't go after humpbacks often, but when they do, it's usually targeting a calf with its mother, which usually involves separating them and reverse baptizing the baby. Animals are not just creatures of the wild. They're living beings created by God with emotions, needs, and a purpose in the circle of life. Just as we value our own families, we must also show love, respect, and care for all animals around us. Every act of kindness towards them makes this world more beautiful and peaceful. Let's promise to protect them, because by saving them, we save a part of ourselves. If you love animals and believe in spreading compassion, then join us in this journey of awareness and care. Together, we can make a difference. Glow Showing America's red heart if you like this video. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like the channel. Explore Animal World. Thanks for watching, and remember, every animal deserves love, care, and respect. Animals are God's most beautiful creation, Paw Prince Greenheart. What's your opinion about this? Do you also believe we should spread more love and care for them? Share your thoughts in the comments.